Hi there, I'm Davey Cretin. Welcome to Cretin Classics. In today's video, I will be reviewing the brand new Judas Priest studio album, Invincible Shield. This is Judas Priest's 19th studio record. Came out last month in March of 2024. It reached number 2 in the British charts, reached number 18 in the US charts. This is their 19th studio record, as I said, and their first in 6 years, a follow up to their album called Firepower from 2018. That was a good record, but I think I like this one better. This album also reached the US Top Hard Rock Albums #1 on the Billboard charts and the US Top Rock Albums #4 in the Billboard charts. Now, the regular album contains 11 songs and it's 52 and a half minutes long. There is a deluxe version out with 3 extra songs, so it's 14 songs total, and that comes in at almost 64 minutes in length. So it's a lot of music, but this band has been away for a long time. On the record, we have Rob Halford, of course, on vocals, Glenn Tipton on guitars, Richie Faulkner on guitars, Ian Hill, who's been there from the very beginning in the late 60s, on bass, and Scott Travis on drums. The record was produced by their touring guitar player Andy Sneap, and the last 2 songs are co-produced by Tom Alam, who worked with them back in the 80s on Sons of Thunder and Giants in the Sky. That's on the proper album, not the bonus tracks. He does the last 2 songs, track 10 and 11, on the proper album. He co-produces them with Mr. Sneap. The cover art of the album was done by Mark Wilkinson. Now, Mark Wilkinson I first knew in the 80s when he did work for Marillion, and then when Fish, the former lead singer of Marillion, left, he did work with Fish. That's Fish, Fish, former lead singer of Marillion. He's also done work for Iron Maiden and Judas Priest before. And I like the cover. I like the colors. They're very bright and bold, and it's just eye-catching. And I do plan to buy a physical copy of the record the next time I'm in a record store. But it's really nice artwork. So I did want to mention Mark Wilkinson's artwork. So let's get to the songs. First of all, I really enjoy mostly everything about this record. The songs, the guitar riffs, the solos, and Rob Halford's vocals, which for 72, the guy sounds amazing. I know there's probably a little bit of studio trickery involved, but he still brings it for the most part live from what I see on YouTube and the clips I've seen of previous tours. So he still aces in my book as one of the best heavy metal singers ever. Now, the record starts off with a cool flurry of synths and guitars and what either sounds like treated drums or electronic drums, I'm not sure. And it's this big wash of sounds, and then it coalesces into this main riff, and the first song is Panic Attack. And it's a great song. I would say the one minor quibble I have with this song is that the chorus, and a few on this record, sort of just repeats, where Halford just goes panic attack, panic attack, panic attack, panic attack, and that's the chorus. I'd like a little more variation, but a lot of metal is like that. Think of Iron Maiden's Fear of the Dark. That whole song is basically just Dickinson singing Fear of the Dark over and over. But there's that cool instrumental intro, and then when the band kicks in and the riff kicks in, it's just off to the races. And there's some screaming vocals from Halford on this song, and just with in tandem with the guitars, it just makes for a great opening number. And it's heavy, and it just draws you in. It just kicks your butt. And as I said, Halford sounds great for an older guy. Great guitar solo by Richie Faulkner, and another truly outstanding outro solo by Faulkner as well. And the guy's come into his own. He's one of the preeminent guitarists in metal, I would say. Excellent player. And he fills the roles that both K.K. Downing and Glenn Tipton used to do. Because Tipton does a few solos on this album, but I'll get to that later. So I'm thinking he just plays mainly rhythm guitar. But he is suffering from Parkinson's, so I'm glad he's involved with the songwriting. I'm glad he's playing rhythm and a couple of leads. So he's still a major force within the band. And Tipton's been there for 50 years now. So I hope he gets well, and I hope he improves from his Parkinson's. Get well soon, Mr. Tipton, because Priest needs you. In the driver's seat. The next song, Serpent and the King, just might be the heaviest song on the record. There's great heavy riffs, screeching Halford vocals, and I love the way that Rob hits the word doom when in the chorus, when he comes around again and he says the word doom. It's great. And there's just more shredding solos from Richie on this song. Excellent. Third track is the title track, Invincible Shield. And there's some furious, fiery fretwork and pummeling drums that begin this song in fine fiddle. This is the longest song on the album. Clocks in at almost 7 minutes long. And there's excellent riffs between Halford's vocal lines on the second verse. And it's a very nice melodic guitar solo here. And then it gets heavier, the guitar solo, in almost an Yngwie-esque Malmsteen fashion, with a big flurry of notes, and then it ends in a nice melodic vein. So the first three songs right out of the box, just 1, 2, 3, they just pummel you. And it's like, whoa, Priest is back. This rocks. And it has callbacks to the 70s, has callbacks to the 80s, and of course, Painkiller. Some of Halford's more higher pitched, screechy vocals might remind you of stuff from Painkiller. And of course, that's where Scott Travis first came in, with his double bass drum and his pummeling power and fury. The fourth song is called Devil in Disguise, and it has a sterling opening riff, and then it grows and it growls into a mid-paced, churning rocker. Yet another catchy chorus. That's the thing. Although there are heavy guitar riffs and screaming heavy metal vocals, the choruses are catchy, and you can sing along. They're earworms. So that's what makes this a really good album. It's catchy. You hear it, you remember the songs, you start singing along. So I'm all for that. So I enjoy that about this record. I like Scott Travis's pounding drums on Devil in Disguise. They add a nice flavor. Another cool guitar solo. What can I say? That's just one of the things throughout the album is the great guitar playing of Tipton, and especially Faulkner on lead guitars. Track 5 is Gates of Hell. Has an exquisite opening of guitar riffs and drums, which is basically the whole album. And I love the way that Rob says purgatory. He says purgatory. It's just, I caught that, and it's just, oh, that's nice. That's a little different. Just caught my ears. There's a really nice bridge on this song into another tasty guitar solo by Richie Faulkner. Track 6. Now, this is one of my favorite songs on the record. Besides the opening salvo, those 3 songs are great. It's not really a bad track on this album, actually. But Crown of Horns, track number 6. I love the opening guitar riff. Stellar guitar opening salvo into this very melodic riff and groove. And it has a catchy guitar solo after a nice middle 8 section. And I even hear Ian Hill on bass guitar here. Oh my God, he's been absent since basically the early 80s. And you hear him at points and spots on this album. So welcome back, Mr. Hill. It's nice to hear you. I mean, his work on the 70s stuff was excellent. And then when the 80s started, he kind of disappeared a little. So he's back. So that's good news. This song, Crown of Horns, I'm trying not to say Crown of Thorns. Crown of Horns is an album highlight for me. It's melodic, it's catchy, and it's a throwback to the 80s stuff when Priest were actually played on the radio and MTV back in the day, but that's gone. Track number 7, As God Is My Witness. We're back to the heavy riffarama here of the earlier tracks. The first 3 tracks is what I'm talking about. But this song has a catchy chorus. It's a good song. It's not my favorite, but it's not a bad song. Track number 8, Trial by Fire. This was one of the pre-release singles, and it's a really good song. I love the opening riff that grows into a nasty mid-paced groover in the classic Judas Priest mode. Another excellent bridge that leads to a sweet solo spot on guitar from Richie Faulkner. And Rob hits some nice high vocal highs here in this song. when he goes trial by fire and really goes up much higher than I just did. So very cool song, Trial by Fire. I like it a lot. Track 9, Escape from Reality. Little drum flurry begins this song, which harkens back almost to Painkiller, but this is very brief, like a couple of seconds, not as long as the one that opened up Painkiller in 1990, many, many moons ago. So Escape from Reality has a heavy riff, another heavy groove, and then Halford comes in, and I hear Mr. Hill on bass guitar again. Always a welcome sight, or sound, I should say, always a welcome sound. Uh, there is some prime plectrum picking from Richie Faulkner on this song. Say that 3 times fast. I could barely get it out once. And another fine solo here. So that's the theme of the album, the great guitar work. Next comes track 10, Sons of Thunder, and this song contains a guitar solo from Glenn Tipton. I like the song. It's the shortest song on the album proper. It's only 3 minutes long, and the main riff is good. And then in the chorus, there's a nice call and response with like a gang vocal type background. And Halford says Sons of Thunder, and then you hear someone, probably Halford, say Sons of Thunder, the call and response. I like that little part in the chorus. And this is a biker anthem. And this has a nice, tasty guitar solo by Mr. Glenn Tipton on this song. And it's just joyous to hear that he could still shred and he could still play. When his health is good, he could actually pick up the axe and play really well. So welcome back to Mr. Tipton on this song. So Sons of Thunder is a little different because of its brevity, and it's just this biker anthem, and I really like it. It's short, but it adds a nice distinct flavor to the album. The last song on the album proper is called Giants in the Sky, and this is like a mini epic 5-minute song, and it's a tribute to the band's, and especially Rob Halford's, fallen friends, just probably personal friends in his life, and Lemmy from Motorhead, friends he's lost along the way. So it's a tribute song, great main riff in this song, and there is a really good acoustic guitar breakdown, which is very unexpected. It's a 5-minute plus song, and about 3 minutes into the song, 3/5 of the way through, it just mellows out, and there's some really nice acoustic guitar playing from Richie Faulkner here. And then Rob comes in with these sweet vocals. It's an excellent song here, and it's a great way to end the album. Great bridge where Rob is singing and Faulkner's playing the acoustic guitar. And then the whole band comes back in, and it ends in fine fashion. There are just a lot of tasty morsels on display throughout this song and the album. And it's these nice little variants like Crown of Horns and Sons of Thunder, and of course Giants in the Sky, that give the album some diversity. Not every song just pummels you and hits you. There's some nice textures and flavors. So I like that about the album. Then we have the bonus tracks. Track 12, if you tack it on, it's track 12. The 12th song is called Fight of Your Life. And this is a bit of a 70s throwback. The opening riff, personally, it reminds me a little bit of Better By You, Better Than Me from Stained Class from way back in the 70s, one of their classic, amazing albums. So this is another good song. It has a great guitar riff. It's catchy, a driving melody. Reminds me of the 70s. Another great solo. And nice guitar work over Halford's vocals for the outro of the song. As Halford's singing, there's some nice lead work by Faulkner. So I like that. And this is a good tune. I think it should have made the record. The next song is Vicious Circle. Now, this is the other song that features a guitar solo by Glenn Tipton on here. And I like the main riff of the song, and I like Tipton's short melodic solo. He doesn't shred. Probably can't anymore, unfortunately, like Faulkner does. But it's a very melodic solo. But the song overall is maybe my least favorite out of the 14 that are on the deluxe version of the record. Now, the last song is probably my favorite on the album, The Lodger. It's very different. And I've been walking around singing the song for months now, or for over a month. As my girlfriend could attest to, I just walk around the house singing the chorus to this song. And this song was written by Bob Halligan Jr. and it's very melodic. It's a little over 3 minutes. Now, Bob Halligan Jr., some of you Priest diehards might remember, wrote some Heads Are Gonna Roll and Take These Chains from back in the 80s, from Defenders of the Faith and Screaming for Vengeance, respectively. And he writes some good songs, and this song is a revenge tale. So it's a story song. It tells a story. Got to listen to the lyrics. Halford has a great performance on this song. Super catchy chorus. And then it just, the way it ends, it's just like sort of an abrupt ending. And it almost leaves you wanting more. Like, oh, I wish that song was longer. I wish there was more to this story. It would probably make a good short story, a good novella. But I love the larger, probably the larger, Crown of Horns, Panic Attack, The Serpent and the King, and the title track, Invincible Shield, are my favorite songs here. I would say 5 or 6 favorites. And the other songs are really good. The only one I'm kind of disappointed with is Vicious Circle. And I feel bad because Vicious Circle has a nice guitar solo by Glenn Tipton. Pardon me, I just recorded another video for another channel before I did this video. So overall, I'd probably give this album, I would say, a 9 out of 10. And I like the pre-release songs, and the album itself as a whole is growing on me the more I hear it. I'd say this is top tier Judas Priest. And eventually I'm going to do a ranking of Judas Priest on the channel, but 19 albums is a lot of records. And this is probably my favorite since Painkiller 1990. I know there are some YouTubers saying it's the best thing they've ever done, or it's the best thing since the 70s. I don't know if I wouldn't go that far, but it is a really good record. And it's definitely going to be in the upper half of my ranking, I would say. But I'm going to go through the albums again, make my notes, record the video eventually. But it's a lot to do. But Judas Priest are an excellent band. I've been a fan since Screaming for Vengeance. And I remember I bought Screaming for Vengeance, and I bought Defenders of the Faith, and then everything after that. And then, of course, I went back and found out all about the 70s albums, which to me are probably the glory days through Defenders of the Faith. That's like the prime Priest. Painkiller, this album, Firepower is really good. And some of the other ones I have to go over again and see how I feel about them nowadays. But Judas Priest are one of the preeminent metal bands. They're still there, them and Iron Maiden, carrying the torch for metal. I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to remind everyone to like, subscribe, and comment. Tell me what you think of this album. Tell me what your favorite songs are on the 19th studio album by Judas Priest, Invincible Shield. Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone. And don't forget, rock out, prog on, and pogo. Take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.